Okay, the regular meeting of the Housing Authority is called to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Agency members Ramirez,
Here.
Rios,
Here.
Hernandez,
Here.
I know.
Vice Chair Perez,
Here.
Chair Ayala,
Here. There's 2 consent items for consideration. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as
I'll
motion?
motion. Move
I'll
it.
second. I don't think
Community,
people can hear.
Community Development Director, is there a report?
can I do a roll call before we move on?
Gotcha.
Hello? So I'm going to do the roll call for consent calendar. Agency members Ramirez,
Aye.
Rios,
Aye.
Hernandez,
I abstain. Item number 68925 and item number 68955.
Vice Chair Perez. Aye. Chair Ayala.
Aye. Okay, Community Development Director, is there a report?
No report.
Thank you. Is there anybody wishing to speak under oral communications for specifically the Housing Authority? Okay, then this meeting is adjourned. We're going to go into the council meeting. Oh, okay. Not going to be here. We ready, clerk? Okay, the regular meeting of the Norwalk City Council is now called to order. Start off with invocation and pledge. This evening, we're honored to have Pastor Bohorkis from New Creation Church for over 25 years. He is dedicated to helping others through local and global ministry. In his free time, he enjoys watching sports and cheering for the Lakers and Dodgers. Please come forward to lead the invocation, Pastor Bohorkis. Also following the invocation, we are joined by Dominic Ortiz Olivas, a third grader from Earl E. Edmondson Elementary School, who will lead us in the flag salute. Dominic enjoys playing video games, soccer, and running. Everyone please stand as they both lead us separately in prayer and the flag salute. And then afterwards, Pastor Bohorkis and Dominic come forward. We have a little gift for you, and we need to take a picture.
Thank you, sir. I'm just going to read a scripture in Joshua 1:3-8 says, as far as this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you should meditate on it day and night. And then it says that he will make our way prosperous and give us good success. But it does says, do not be afraid or be dismayed. And we're going to just pray that, I know there are a lot of things that are happening in our country right now. And we're just going to pray for peace, for calmness, and for God peace to rest upon all of us, and especially our great city. So let's come in agreement right now. Father in heaven, we just come before you. And Lord, we just take the scripture to heart concerning, God, to be strong and very courageous. And so we just pray, God, that you will keep our people safe and strong. We pray for a spirit of peace to cover our city, our nation, and our country, God. And Lord, we just pray, God, for success. We pray your goodness, your favor to be upon our city, upon everything we do and everything we plan. We pray that this year will be an effective, successful year. And Lord, our trust is in you. Father, you said to trust in the Lord with all of our heart. Our trust is in you. Our dependence is in you. And Lord, we ask, God, that you will guide our leaders. You will guide our mayor, our council, and the staff, God. Lord, that you will just be the one in the midst of everything we plan and do. We ask this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen and amen.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
He remembers. Leave it alone.
City Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Council members Ramirez,
Here.
Rios. Here. Vice Mayor Perez. Here. Mayor Ayala.
Here. City Attorney, can we have a closed session report, please?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Members of the City Council, the record should reflect the City Council recessed into closed session with the 4 members that are present tonight. We're also present in closed session. That the items that were listed on the agenda were announced for discussion. There was no report. There's nothing to be reported this time as reportable action from closed session. And that concludes my report. It's appropriate to continue with the open portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Arnold. City Council comments, Councilmember Ramirez.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming. I apologize for the slight rise in temperature in here, but it's our commitment as the City of Norwalk as we move forward with sustainability and conserving our energy. We decided to turn the heat up a little bit in here. So we apologize for any discomfort. Just sit back and enjoy our session. It's been a busy week, as you guys know. A lot of things have been happening in this world, in our surrounding cities. I want to commend our city staff, our public safety, and our law enforcement community for being vigilant, being dedicated to the public safety of our community, to making sure that our quality of life is protected and that we can continue to work, live, and play in the city of Norwalk. So let's give them a round of applause for all that they've done. So we will continue to support our local government and our public safety as we move forward, because there's a lot of uncertainty still out there, but we want to stay firm and committed to making sure public safety is paramount in Norwalk. As we move forward to our summer concert series, we're going to be having those concerts moved to other locations out of City Hall, so I'm looking forward to that. We just launched, I think, Thursday or Friday, the movies in the park. I think the first one hit at Norwalk Park, correct? I heard it was a great success. People had enjoyed themselves. Weather was great. I'm looking forward to more of those nights outdoors. I really have nothing else to report. It's been kind of on autopilot the last week or so. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Rick. Councilmember Rios.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to welcome everyone to our meeting today. Before I begin, I do want to ask that we close this meeting in memory of Mr. Ernie Gutierrez, a longtime resident of the city of Norwalk. He actually, part of his volunteerism was as a commissioner. He served on the Public Safety Commission from 2011 to 2015 and from 2018 to 2020. And he also served on the Personnel Appeals Board from 2012 to 2018. Again, that's Mr. Ernie Gutierrez. I ask that we close in his memory. I know he still has family here in the city, as well as employees who work for the city and/or a school district. Recently, I was able to serve as a judge for the League of California Cities Helen Putnam Award, and the topic that I chose was planning and environmental quality. It was really, really informational to be able to participate as a judge. So there were several cities, about 14 cities, neighboring cities, that submitted their plans on how they're addressing their environmental issues, their quality of life as it pertains to planning, and how they're doing their best to preserve their carbon footprint and just be really good stewards of their environment. So I definitely took away a lot of ideas from there that would benefit our own city. Some of them we're already doing, but that was really, it was nice. I really enjoyed serving as a judge for them and ultimately selecting the winner. Over the last several weeks, we did, as a council and our leadership team, participate in our budget meeting, and that was on a Saturday. It was several hours of just going over our budget, our finances in the city, having to do with what services and programming we provide to our residents, what are our priorities there, how are we best serving our employees and our community overall, working in collaboration with the community as a whole when we talk about and think about planning our budget for the next fiscal year. Having to be obviously very fiscally responsible, but also wanting to maintain the quality of services, programming, and quality of life that we all enjoy here in the city of Norwalk. So that was a good meeting. Also wanted to just let staff share a concern from the community regarding lunches that have been provided. I know we started serving lunches at several parks. Is that correct? Who's handling that? Alan? Okay, so you may already be aware, I don't know, but I guess the lunches have been running out relatively quickly. And what was explained to me that it was maybe like 5 minutes into the start of the distribution. So maybe something to put on your radar so that if we do have families or young people coming to our parks to pick up a meal, that they actually are able to receive one.
Sounds good. We'll look into that.
Okay, thank you so much. And then lastly, I just want to, it's been a very difficult time the last several weeks, and I think regardless of where you are on this issue that our country is currently facing, I really hope that you would agree that we can all stand for human decency and have that serve as our guide as to how we treat one another, how we treat others, the value that we place on our community, the people that live here, all people that live here. I know that we've had a couple of protests here in the city, and they have been very peaceful. Thank you to our public safety partners. I will share that we will not tolerate any type of abusive behavior towards one another, towards our public safety partners. We expect that everyone conducts themselves peacefully and remembering to be decent to one another. Please refrain from participating in any events that would pose a safety risk to yourselves or anyone else. Find a way if you need to voice where you are on this particular issue currently in our country, that you choose wisely so that you remain safe, your family remains safe, and we're respectful of our police officers, police men and women out there just doing their job. So I thank those that have participated in any protests and have done so peacefully, but issue a warning to those that choose not to. There are consequences. And as I said, my hope is that we can just all agree that we need to be decent and value humanity as a whole. All of us. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Perez?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to summer. No pun intended. Welcome to my personal summer. Let me just put it out there. I also just want to say the only thing that I'll share with you all tonight, we do have a lot going on in our city in the summer here in the city of Norwalk. You can get all of the dates, times, information, what park, what location. That is all found on our social media pages and on our website. We do a great job of getting all of that information out to our residents. So we cannot wait to see you at some of our summer events. That's all I have tonight, Mayor. We have a pretty long agenda and want to make sure that we respect everyone's time. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree. So what I'm going to talk about is how proud I am of Norwalk's Special Olympics team. I had a chance to go out and watch them compete at Cal State Long Beach a couple weeks ago, and that team made Norwalk proud. Their spirit, their competitiveness, the fact that they won a whole bunch of medals, and it was just outstanding. And it's pretty clear to see that the reason why it is so successful is because of the work of our recreation department, the staff members who work with the team, they're longtime staff members, and they're coaching and supporting and doing some really good stuff. And so I just I'm going to have our Special Olympics team come to a council meeting here in the near future so that you get a chance to meet everybody. But I just want to say that, before we actually do that. But very, very impressive, Alan. I think, thank your staff. I know I thanked them that day, but I don't think they can be thanked enough for the way they executed on that and our Norwalk team. I'd like to close the meeting in memory of Marie Salazar Stevens. She passed on April 30th, 2025, leaving her spouse, James Stevens, and children, Emilio, Melissa, David, and Stephanie. They lived at 13132 Longworth Avenue, and she will be sorely missed by her family and the community. So we will adjourn in memory of her, and also Pete Gutierrez, who he was, I first met him when he was Luigi Vernola's planning commissioner in the early 1990s. So he was around for a long time and did some good things. Next time we're going to do special presentations. Tonight we're proud to recognize the Finance Department for receiving 2 prestigious honors from the Government Finance Officers Association. First, the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting is presented to the City of Norwalk for its annual comprehensive financial report for fiscal year 2022 and 23. This award reflects the city's commitment to financial transparency, accountability, and excellence. Secondly, first time we've had 2 awards from that organization at the same time. But second is a certificate of recognition for budget preparation. It's awarded to the Finance Department for its instrumental role in achieving GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association's Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. This is the first time the city's budget document was submitted and it recognizes Norwalk's budget as a powerful tool that serves not only as a financial plan, but as a clear policy document and communications guide for the community, and represents the highest level of transparency possible for our residents to know what we're doing and how we're doing it. Let's welcome representatives from the Finance Department to the front to receive their awards and take a group photo, please. Okay, it's time for city manager comments. Mr. Gomez.
Yes, Mayor, members of the City Council, the first thing I just want to say is that thanks to our first responders and our public safety department that are keeping us safe in the city and keeping order. We do appreciate those that want to express what they are feeling, what they are thinking, but the both protests that we had were peaceful, and so I'm really happy that they were prepared to deal with that. Second, we have a video for the Special Olympics event that will demonstrate how competitive our adaptive program is in the region. So with that, we can play the video.
After a year of hard training, the Norwalk Special Olympic athletes competed in the 2025 Special Olympics at Cal State Long Beach. With the support of Mayor Tony Ayala, recreation staff, and family members, the Norwalk team was ready for the competition.
Hey Norwalk, I want to thank all our athletes that participated in the Special Olympics today. They're doing an outstanding job, makes Norwalk very proud. We got a great program, and it's just an outstanding experience. We owe you a debt of gratitude, every athlete, for making Norwalk proud.
Go Team Norwalk!
And tonight is going to be an athlete type evening. We have our second annual Norwalk 5K run, walk, recap video, and you can see all the participants. We sold out thanks to the advertisement from Parks and Recreation, and I think the event is going to continue to grow here in the city of Norwalk. With that, we can play the video.
On Sunday, June 1st, the city of Norwalk laced up and hit the pavement for our second annual 5K run. Hosted at Norwalk City Hall, this year's event brought together families, fitness fans, and the community for a fun-filled morning of movement and motivation.
Good morning, we're here at the Norwalk 5K. We're so excited to be here. Go Norwalk!
I came to run at Norwalk. Great community, great people. Be safe and enjoy the run.
Today I'm going to be participating in a 5K marathon. It's going to be a long and hard-working day. A lot of people are going to be competing against each other, running to win that prize. I'm sure excited to run and you're going to have a lot of fun. Are you guys excited? Because I am. Let's do it!
The day kicked off bright and early with a high-energy performance from Neon Nation to get everyone pumped up. At 8 a.m., our youngest runners took off in the exciting children's 1K dash, and they brought the energy.
Go!
We ran the 1K mile and I felt good.
Then, just moments later, the countdown began for the main event, the Norwalk 5K Run Walk. With the streets safely closed and the route lined with volunteers, water stations, and cheer squads, participants made their way through our city with smiles, determination, and community pride.
Let's keep it going! Woo! Let's go, guys. Let's go. You're almost there. Go, Norwalk. Let's go. Home stretch. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. You got this.
I just ran the Norwalk 5K and I feel pretty good.
I just ran the 5K here at Norwalk, and I think I had a blast. I really like the way that they put it together. The community came together. I felt like it was really interactive, and overall just a really fun experience for me and just everyone here.
I just ran the 5K and I feel exhausted.
After crossing the finish line, everyone gathered at the Runners Village to enjoy music, refreshments, and celebrate our top finishers during the awards ceremony. Whether you walked, ran, or cheered from the sidelines, thank you for making this year's 5K one to remember. We'll see you at the starting line next year.
There you have it, all those athletes. And then next we have the bi-weekly review video.
On June 4th, the Norwalk Public Safety held a ceremony for cadets that graduated from high school this year. These cadets have had a positive impact on our community. Congrats to the class of 2025. Norwalk celebrated Father's Day with several fun activities. On June 5th, the Social Services Center held Putting with Papa, a miniature golf-themed event for fathers and their children to enjoy. Then, on June 12th, participants danced the morning away at the Father's Day Dance Rodeo Rampage. Later that evening, the Senior Center hosted Father's Day Casino Night, where participants tried their luck at different games and enjoyed the night with music, refreshments, and great company. Happy Father's Day, Norwalk! On June 12th, Seroptimist International of Norwalk and Santa Fe Springs held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for rebuilt housing units. This marks significant progress in the city's continued support for affordable housing. Mayor Tony Ayala, council members, and various dignitaries attended the ceremony. The City of Norwalk's Community Promotion Commission held the Commissioners' Appreciation Dinner on June 13th. The event recognized the City Commissioners' dedication and leadership that guides many of the events, developments, and programs in our city. Summer is here, and the Recreation and Parks Department is ready with all kinds of activities for you and your family to enjoy. On June 13th, families enjoyed Moana 2 at Norwalk Park. Be sure to mark your calendar and join us at the next Movies at the Park event.
Mayor and Council, that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Consent calendar, there's 18 consent items for consideration. Ms. DeVoy, are there any persons wishing to speak on the consent calendar items?
I do not have any speaker cards for that.
Okay.
Mayor, I would like a report on item number 10 and 18.
Okay, staff.
Yes, Mayor, members of City Council, we have for item number 10, Mr. Alex Hamilton.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and City Council, the item before you tonight is an award of a contract for economic development services with Cosmont Companies. In December of 2022, the City Council awarded a new contract to Cosmont for a 3-year term. They do offer a full range of economic development services, including business recruitment and retention activities, strategic planning, marketing, perform analysis, maintaining and updating databases, and evaluating infrastructure funding status or strategies. Cosmont has worked with the city since 2018. If you recall, they prepared the first city economic development opportunities plan in 2018, which the council adopted, and then they subsequently prepared an update to that plan in 2023, which you have adopted. This is a little worksheet as it relates to Cosmont Companies. It's just the full service, full range of activities that they provide and services. I do want to say that when it comes to the Economic Development Opportunities Plan, it's been a document, it's a living, breathing document for staff. We use it when we go to ICSC, we use it when we meet with developers and prospective investors in the city. And as will be highlighted on the next slide, this also shows a little bit about what they do. There's perform analysis using database and technology and GIS to spot market trends, identify trends in the city and opportunities and strengths for the city as well. Next slide, please. The services recap includes, there was an EDOP update commenced on 2023 of January. As I said, they developed 10 or identified 10 economic nodes for use inclusion in the Economic Development Opportunities Plan. They've provided economic development tools and strategies. And as I said, they've updated demographic and market data, including adding mobile data, analytic information to observe retail leakage and visitation trends. If you recall, they worked with us on the hotel study, which has been a key document for us to identify areas of opportunity for that service sector. And as well, what we look forward to, in addition to what they've accomplished, we're looking forward to the next 3 years. As you know, we've got the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District, or EIFD, which is well underway. There'll be a subsequent action tonight on that. There'll be an actual formation on July 1st, where you'll be the authority that will be trusted with carrying out that EIFD. So we've got some goals set forth there. And we're hoping that EIFD will be adopted by the fall of this year. I can't understate how significant that is going to be for the city, and with your leadership and with Cosmont's technical expertise on this, it'll generate tens of millions of dollars over the plan life, 30 to 40 years, that we can then put back into infrastructure, sorely needed infrastructure improvements in the city. Next slide. There's ongoing developer attraction and outreach, as I indicated. They do work with us. They've been working with us since 2019 to represent us at ICSC and set up meetings, and very invaluable in leading that discussion. They've also, as I said, as part of ICSC, they've worked this most recently. They worked to set up meetings with hotel flags, hotel developers, brokers, especially brokers in the retail and restaurant business. They also provide quarterly market dashboards, which they've been providing since Q1 of 2022. Next slide. And more importantly, they provide as-needed economic development services. As I indicated, they perform market feasibility and fiscal analysis for various sites. They've conducted research and prepared memos relating to retail leakage, sales tax revenue. We will have a presentation from them on July 1st where they will recap ICSC and also have a very interesting discussion with you about what Ken Hira from Cosmont calls a trifecta, which is revenues from property tax, sales tax, and transient occupancy tax, and what those trends look like, what they've looked like over the last 20 years here in Norwalk, and what they look like into the future. As also, they provided economic analysis for the Heart of Norwalk specific plan, which is going to be coming to you as an update on July 1st, and it will be released for public review and comment in July. And they continue to provide evaluation of economic nodes within the Economic Development Opportunities Plan. So, and more importantly, they do provide, they've provided historically assistance with us as we move forward with big projects like the Walk and the Civic Center, Norwalk Entertainment District. They provided the fiscal analysis for the CYA, the Transit Village project, which is adopted and well on its way. They've also assisted with Costco lease renewal. They're also continuing to work with us on the former Walmart site. And again, as I said, EIFD is right around the corner. So this is just an example of some things that they've worked on in the past and are continuing to work on an ongoing basis. Staff does recommend approval of this action, which is a 3-year contract with Cosmont to continue with their services. Be more than happy to answer any questions should you have them.
Do you have any additional questions, Margarita?
Hi, no, I was just trying to pull up my staff report, and I didn't see, this wasn't part of our staff report, right, what you just presented now?
There is a staff report that goes
No,
with
I know,
it. It's on consent, but yes.
But it wasn't this one, the one you just showed right now?
No, the one I just showed now is the PowerPoint, which is a summary
Oh,
of
okay.
the contents of the staff report.
Okay, very good,
Yes.
very good, Alex, yes. That's actually what I was looking for, is more of a concise, just break it down, the information, what Cosmont has done, where we're going with, the contract. And I'm glad to hear that he'll be here July 1st, you said?
That's correct.
Okay, to present more on what we can expect as far as project management.
That's correct.
Right? And now the one question I do have, speaking of ICSC, and just to put this on your radar, because you mentioned he's going to give us some information, a recap, right?
That's correct.
One of the services that I became aware of at ICSC is a database subscription that actually tracks retail and tenant availability in every city. Is that something that Cosmont does?
Do you know what the name of the software is?
It's the Brown Book Retail Tenant Guide. So I actually stopped by this particular company, and they explained that they track every category of retail space, user tenancy from dollar stores, etc. And it's a database subscription that helps cities look at what's available, and then as a follow-up, track tenants that are looking for those type of spaces.
Councilmember, we can certainly look into that, but we wouldn't want to duplicate what Cosmon is currently doing. They do that for us presently. But certainly if there's other opportunities that are, but most of those are subscription-based. And again, we don't want to duplicate what's already provided for us by both Cosmon as well as HDL, which helps us with our sales tax analysis and our leakage and quarterly reports to myself and the finance director too.
Well, I don't want to duplicate your services. I just want to make sure that we are paying for the services that our city needs.
Yes, we are.
And so with this particular guide, it's relatively inexpensive, and it's basically a guide to retail and restaurant tenants. So I just would like to know if this is something, because I don't remember hearing anything like that specifically. I mean, I know we've talked about nodes, and I know Cosmont has taken us to this point, and the recommendation is to renew. But I really would like to hear more on why we should do that, you know.
If I may interject, I agree with Councilmember Rios. You know, as we're moving Norwalk into the economic future, with the uncertainty of the economy and what's to happen, I think, you know, duplicating services and wasting city funding is a concern. Not to say Cosmo has done that. I mean, they've done an excellent job up to this point when it came to researching, doing market analysis for both the walk, the transit village concept, as well as the Front Street project, amongst other things. I would definitely, I mean, Cosmot should be here tonight, right? They should be here to answer questions, to be present, because I just don't want them to take it for granted that just because it's on the consent calendar that we're just gonna rubber stamp it, right? There's questions, there's answers that we need. I would recommend, if my colleagues would allow me to, is to pull this item, if it's not anything pertinent or to the next meeting, so that we have an opportunity to ask these questions and to get the answers straight from the horse's mouth. You know, we all traveled to ICSC. We all seen them work in action. We appreciate what they've done, but there's things that could have been improved. Maximizing meeting times with relevant investors and developers that really want to come to Norwalk. There was a couple of meetings that I was kind of taken back, and it was a waste of time. So I want to make sure that they're efficient, effective, and they continue to do the work that they've done. So I would love to see this item pulled until next council meeting, if that is all possible with our city attorney's guidance and with city manager's approval.
Yeah.
And obviously the mayor's.
Yeah, I would support that, because I know I've asked in the past that if we're going to award a contract, that organization, company, business should be present. We can award a contract to anybody. Hopefully, we're looking for the best and brightest, we're just best of the best. That's what we're looking for in Norwalk. But we're awarding a contract that is backed financially. So I know I've mentioned this before. When we do that, that business should be in council chambers as a potential awardee. And I think Councilmember Ramirez's request is reasonable, because I believe in reading the staff report, this isn't up until December?
That's correct. And Councilmember, I didn't invite them here tonight, so that's on me. Certainly on July 1st, they'll be prepared to give a full presentation of the services that they've provided and that they can continue to provide to the city over the next 3 years. So I do take responsibility for that, but.
Yeah, no, but I think you just mentioned how we can fix that. I think that'd be great.
And in the meantime, can you forward that PowerPoint? I mean, I did really get a lot out of that PowerPoint than I did the staff
same
report.
Here. Yes.
There was a little bit more detailed in that report.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Alex.
So, city manager, or mayor?
Let's hold on here. What's the other item you have a question on?
Yes. Item number 18, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of the City Council, Ms. Rita Ruiz will present.
Good evening, Mayor Ayala and Vice Mayor and members of the City Council. So a little bit of background. With the increasing frequency of large-scale events and growing concerns around public safety, the city has made it a priority to enhance visibility, crowd management, and emergency response. Currently, public safety only has one camera trailer to support these efforts with limited functionality. The second unit, the second unit is currently non-operational, limiting the city's ability to proactively manage public safety during. To improve public safety response, staff recommends replacing the outdated trailers with 3 upgraded solar-powered Sentry Pro 3 camera trailers. These units offer real-time monitoring, advanced surveillance. So the fiscal impact is no fiscal impact, It's already included in the 24-25 budget, which comes from the approved of bid. There's no fiscal impact. It's already budgeted for that. So we do recommend that City Council approve the purchase of the 3 Sentry Pro surveillance trailers from Backstreet.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Rita, for that information. Again, just looking at our purchasing power here and what we're doing with our resources that we're bringing into our city. So I know there was an emphasis in our special events, and those are increasing. We're doing a lot better. There's great activity. With that activity, obviously, is increasing in our attendance. But have we had any specific issues regarding special events? Was there a reason why you mentioned that specifically in your report?
So with special events, we are limited to 1 camera trailer at the moment. So supplying or receiving these 3, obviously you and the members of the City Council, that would help adjust with all the special events that we have going on, whether it's some creation, like we had the movie night, or a neighborhood watch meeting if they, with any developments that we are also having with the city. We currently only have 1 camera trailer. So the second one that was damaged or vandalized, it's currently being approved. And that's their additional cost. It's all allotted within.
Okay, I guess.
And Councilwoman Rios,
Yes.
if I may add, one of the strategic ways that we've been able to place these cameras are like in homeless gathering places. As a very specific example was over by the school district, Pioneer and Firestone, and we placed a camera there to be able to monitor the homeless activity there. We have placed them in various areas of the city, excuse me, to be able to monitor activity because we can remotely look at the activity that's happening. So it's using technology, again, to have eyes on specific areas that are of concern, and they're mobile. Just recently, we also placed them over by the Porsche dealership, where we were having activity with the monuments, but also another activity that was not permitted just around the corner. We were able to place the cameras there to be able to monitor activity. So it's a way to monitor activity 24 hours in areas of concern for the community.
Yes. No, I'm very familiar with how surveillance cameras operate, and I know that, Jesus, thank you for that explanation. As you mentioned, transient activity, but I mean, the overarching really issue is safety, whether that be residential, whether that be commercial. And so that's kind of what I was looking for in the report is what's the deployment plan? What are we looking, we're acquiring these resources, what plans are in place for them to be deployed, how and why? And then how do we measure that, obviously, right? So wholeheartedly support it, just want to make sure that there's a plan behind it.
Yes.
Okay.
Provide that.
If I may, Margarita and Mr. Mayor, if I can just interject real quick. I know I did recently saw a camera in the Caltrans surplus property on Imperial in Pioneer, which has now been removed and deployed somewhere else. But to Margarita's point, I would love to see the deployment schedule to some problem areas that we're having in the city and how we could be a deterrent. But also, too, would like to have more detailed reporting on who is monitoring these. I like to see it for myself, because I just don't want the trailers out there and the lights blinking, but there's no monitoring of it, right? Where is it being uploaded? Is it 24 hours, 7 days a week? Is it just only monitored on occasion? I glance at the screen. So I want to make sure that, you know, it's being monitored and it's being maximized and utilized to its advantage, to its maximum potential. Thank you.
Mayor, if I have a quick question or just a comment. Rita, during the excellent extravaganza, I remember you guys had the public safety trailer and the cameras and the screens and everything. Was the camera that you guys are referring to here used at Hollyfield Park and
Yes,
projected
correct.
into the trailer?
Yeah, that was with our emergency management team. We had it in the command post, which LAC is also.
It was
in the-
absolutely amazing. I got there early enough to be able to take a tour of the park, see where the camera was located in the park, and then go into the trailer and see the setup from the EOC with the screens and what they were looking at and the ability from these particular cameras and how they projected into the trailer for use of public safety and LASD, and I was extremely impressed. So great job, and really think it's going to change the trajectory of public safety in our city, which I think is going to be great.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I could, I'm going to try to take a stab at this from what I heard with our colleagues. I'd like to table item number 10 based on Councilmember Ramirez's suggestion and move all other items on the consent.
I'll second that.
Hold on one sec. Teresa, is there anybody that has indicated that they want to speak on any of the consent items?
No, I only have the 2 cards that I provided to you.
That's all we
They're
have?
not on consent.
Okay. Very good. Go ahead. We got motion second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Ramirez.
Aye.
Rios.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Perez.
Aye.
And Mayor Ayala.
Aye. Okay, our next item is appointments to advisory bodies. Does anybody have any appointments? Okay, seeing none. Item 20, approval of appointments to the Norwalk Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District Public Finance Authority.
Yes, Mayor, members of City Council, Mr. Alex Hamilton will present.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, tonight you're asked to appoint to the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District, EIFD, which I was just speaking about earlier. On March 18th, 2025, the City Council adopted Resolution Number 25-09, authorizing the formation of the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District. The resolution allowed for the establishment of an EIFD, which is a public finance authority, and appointments to said EIFD. On April 15th, 2025, the County Board of Supervisors adopted a resolution of intent expressing the county's intent to participate in the city's EIFD, and if I may do so enthusiastically, the county is completely on board with this, as I'd mentioned to you previously. Typically, public finance authorities are comprised of 5 members. There would be 2 city council members and can include an alternate council member, 1 member of the local community, and the county appoints a representative of the supervisorial district serving Norwalk and a public member. In this case, Mr. Andy Perez is the county supervisorial district representative, and former council member Leonard Shyrock is the community member on behalf of the county. Pursuant to Government Code 53398.511, if the Board of Supervisors approves the county's participation in the Norwalk EIFD, at least 2 city council members shall be appointed as members. It is recommended that the city council appoint the mayor and the vice mayor, along with the council member appointed in alphabetical order by last name, as an alternate. In addition, 1 member of the public shall be appointed at the city council's discretion. The appointment of the member of the public is required to be at today's meeting to convene a meeting of the Public Finance Authority on July 1st of 2025. So the public member is at the council's discretion. We do have a recommendation on that. So Upon completion of the necessary appointments, the next steps in this process for the completion of the EIFD are as follows. Convene the fully appointed Public Financing Authority. It is recommended that the PFA meeting occur immediately prior to the regularly scheduled City Council meetings, much like the successor agency. That is anticipated to be on July 1st of 2025. Also, as at the July 1st, 2025 meeting is recommended that a series of actions be taken by the newly created authority, that you consider and adopt bylaws governing the activities of the financing authority, and as well as adopt those and review the fundamentals of the EIFD, review of the EIFD analysis to date for the new members, and formal direction to staff and Cosmont to prepare the draft infrastructure financing plan. Staff recommends City Council appoint the mayor and vice mayor along with the council member appointed in an alphabetical order by last name as an alternate and one member of the public, and our city manager has a suggestion on that. Thank you.
I'm waiting.
Oh, sorry. I thought you had questions or comments. First of all, let me say that this is just a financing authority for the city, very similar to financing authorities that existed when redevelopment existed. And most of us that were around those years, they issued municipal bonds to finance projects. So that's the purpose of this financing authority. And so just a suggestion would be that we look at the Planning Commission as a member from the community. And I think there's a couple of them. One that comes to mind is Kim Apodaca, who is very well versed in the Planning Commission, the development projects, and also the process for those plans that we have ahead in terms of the economic development plan. Suggestion for the council.
You need a motion on this tonight? All right, I'll make a motion to move this item.
You have to designate the members.
Oh, I thought we designated, I thought it was already in there that it was mayor, vice mayor.
But the third one is a recommendation from staff for the community member, right?
Oh, and then take the recommendation of Kim Apodaca from.
Yeah, I'll second. We need
Wait, so if I may, so the recommendation would be to appoint the mayor, vice mayor, and then the third member, the alternate, would be by alphabetical order on the council.
Right.
And then the community member would be the Kim Apodaca.
All right, could I have a roll call, please?
Yes.
So, understanding, so that we're taking responsibility, I would be the alternate, correct?
Yes, in order of alphabetical order, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Councilmembers Ramirez,
Aye.
Rios,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Perez,
Aye.
and Mayor Ayala.
Aye. Item 21. Now it's time for a public hearing to consider Assembly Bill 2561, Local Public Employees Vacancy Report. The public hearing is now open.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Today I will be presenting a brief report on Assembly Bill 25.
Can you hold on one second? Is there somebody that can make sure that these things are positioned so that these mics aren't cutting out? Okay, try again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I will start with an overview of Assembly Bill 2561, followed by a citywide staffing data, and end with the information on vacancies, recruitments, retention efforts, and hiring obstacles for calendar year 2024. On September 22, 2024, Governor Newsom signed into law Assembly Bill 2561. which came into effect January 1st, 2025, adding Government Code Section 3502 to the Myers-Millers-Brown Act. The California legislature determined that vacancies are a widespread and significant problem in the public sector. The intent of this bill was to ensure that public agency operations are adequately staffed and that high vacancy rates do not negatively impact public employee relations and service to the community. The bill requires local governments to do the following. Number one, present the status of their vacancies in a public hearing before their governing body at least once per fiscal year. The presentation must be made prior to the adoption of the final budget. Number two, provide information on vacancies, recruitments, retention efforts, and challenges in the hiring process, which we will be presenting today. Number three, present additional information regarding vacancies if the vacancy rate in the bargaining unit is 20% or more. This does not apply to the city of Norwalk since our vacancy rate average is less than 5%. Represented by 4 vacancies in the NAME bargaining group and 12 vacancies in the NCEA bargaining group. And number 4 is allow employee organizations to participate in the hearing. We have notified both bargaining groups of today's presentation with enough time, but we did not receive any communication from them indicated that they wish to participate. The city had a total of 303 full-time positions at the end of calendar year 2024. Throughout the year, there are multiple vacancies that are created due to resignations, retirements, new positions, promotions, newly adopted positions through at the beginning of the fiscal year. This chart represents the number of vacancies created throughout the year due to what I just mentioned, resignations, retirements, new positions. If you note in the month of July, you'll see an increase in vacancies. That's determined by new positions that are added at the beginning of the fiscal year. 48 out of the 64 vacancies were filled in calendar year 2024. The average days to fill those vacancies was 104. This includes the 10-day announcement notice that is sent out to candidates before the job opens. The next slide represents our recruitment process. You will question or ask, why is it 104 days, or why does it take 104 days? Is that the usual? That is a very good number in civil service process, and this is the reason being. The vacancies are created as step 1. The requisition request is approved. The city here posts 10-day notices to all of its employees, letting them know that there's a position that will soon be opening. Once that is determined, the job posting is posted on all of our platforms through governmentjobs.com, NeoGov, our Instagram, Facebook. Once that posting is completed, the position remains open for at least 2 weeks or up to 30 days, depending on the position. HR then screens applications for minimum qualifications. We review those qualified candidates with the subject matter expert. Then we conduct a panel interview, followed by an eligibility list that's provided to the department so that they can conduct their own department interviews. At that time, conditional job offer is offered to the candidate and the pre-employment process begins. Finally, a job offer is sent out to the candidate and a job placement is confirmed. Some of our recruitment efforts, several strategies have been implemented to enhance recruitment, including we've conducted some workshops on resume writing and interview preparations to assist students in their job searches. We organized on-the-spot hiring fair this year at the Norwalk Sports Complex in conjunction with the Recreation Department. We have expanded our social media presence and actively engaged in potential candidates through platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We advertise job opening through professional associations such as Municipal Management Association of Southern California, MMASC, California Clerks Association, CMCA, the Western City, and other relevant sources. We utilize NeoGov to manage and attract and streamline the process of recruitment. Our retention efforts. The city offers a competitive benefits package for full-time positions, which includes medical, dental, vision, and life insurance, and a 980 work schedule for those Fridays off that come in handy. Additionally, the city emphasizes health and wellness initiatives by offering various programs like EAP with resources on mental health, family relationship issues, financial and legal matters aimed at promoting the physical and mental well-being of employees. In addition to that, there's continuous opportunities for continuous education and professional development. Professional development opportunities are available through our JPIA for the professional academies, the California League of City, and other professional organizations. The city has also allocated a total of $80,000 for educational reimbursements across both unions. Furthermore, the city has established employee recognition programs to acknowledge on and reward employees' contributions. This includes a service award ceremony and on-the-spot recognition awards. Some potential hiring issues that we have faced. Some potential obstacles include the lack of wage growth and competitiveness in the market and market wages for certain positions, and a lengthy paper-based onboarding process. To address these concerns, we've implemented an online boarding system that allows candidates to access all required pre-employment documents online. This streamlines and shortens the time it takes to start a new position in the city. Additionally, at the direction of this council, the city conducted a class and compensation study to align positions with the labor market rates, making the city of Norwalk more competitive in the workplace. You will get to hear all the details on that later tonight. Staff recommends that the city council open for public comments and receive the report.
Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Does council have any questions? No question? Then is there a motion?
It's a receive and file.
Oh, okay. That makes it easy. Item 22, now it's time for a public hearing to consider resolution number 25-27, establishing and adopting the city's annual budget for the fiscal year 2025-26, and resolution number 25-28, amending and adopting the fiscal year 25-26 salary schedule for general unit and hourly unit employees and executive management and the mid-management employees. The public hearing is now open. Ms. DeVoy, please provide the noticing report.
Yes, Mayor, members of City Council. The proposed budget was added to the city's website on May 22nd. The notice of today's public hearing was posted at the city's 3 official sites and on the website on June 5th, and it was also published on June 6th in the city's adjudicated newspaper, and we have received no communication.
Thank you. Staff report, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of the City Council, the first thing I want to do is thank you for spending a good amount of your Saturday to review in detail the proposed budget. The one thing that is different this year from the recent past years has been the unprecedented changes from the federal government. And many of those have affected businesses. They continue to affect businesses in our city, and we want to be very cautious moving forward. We have a budget that's being presented to you with no major changes. Luckily, we don't have any layoffs, and we don't have any changes structurally in our organization. The one thing that I will say is that in visiting businesses, they are very, very empty. I am concerned about the sales tax that we would be receiving from those businesses, and we will proceed cautiously, and we will come back to the council probably October, November to give you an update after we receive our what we would call our first quarter sales tax revenue to compare to last year's. It is unprecedented times with the tariffs being implemented, or are going to be implemented, or on hold, or whatever the case may be. It has affected pricing for all building materials, for purchasing even a lunch. Now it's between $15 and $20. So we are proceeding cautiously. So what you'll see is a budget, as you saw at the study session, that is one that, again, has no major changes, but very cautiously moving forward. So with that, Ms. Yana Stewart will present the budget.
Thank you, Jesus. Mayor Ayala, members of the City Council. Today we are approaching to the end of our major project that we all worked very hard on since January of this year. And as Mr. Gomez mentioned, it has been a team effort and a lot of planning and hard work from different department, budget team, and also your time had been poured into it. A document has been published and on the city's webpage and was available for a review with city clerk since May 22nd. On May 27th, finance the team presented the proposed budget, the financial plan to our finance ad hoc team, and during the study session for several hours, we discussed the plan with the City Council during the Saturday morning. And now we are here to present for adoption we are ready for public comments. During our meeting, we didn't make on May 31st, we didn't make any monetary changes to the proposed plan, but city staff did receive and will be working on the direction we received from City Council as it relates to LA Sheriff's contract and the evaluation of school resource deputy and all public safety budget and activities. Also, funding for homeless outreach and possible funding that can be received from LA County in addition to Measure A, excuse me. Also, prioritization of programs and services in case of necessary budget cuts that may be coming our way if our revenues do not pin in and come in as we anticipated when we prepared this plan. And also direction to look into revenue generation or more audits for our transient occupancy tax and business licenses in the city. And as mentioned, these times are unprecedented, and historically or traditionally under normal business, we do evaluate our financial plan once a year at the mid-year mark. However, we anticipate to come to you much sooner and provide you update with where we are as it relates to our plan. We prepared this financial plan in mind with all the mission for the city, and we are guided by our strategic plan that City Council set for us during the strategic plan 2023-2025. There is no deviation from our goals, and we are working in accomplishing what we have been said what was said by City Council. What is new in this financial plan is that we are implementing cost allocation plan. That means that we are just reporting the support for administrative costs and all the support for the federal funds or federal programs in a different mechanism. We don't charge our time directly to these programs, but through the administrative cost allocation plan. And also, effective July 1st, City Council was already approved during public hearing on April 1st, the new fees for services, and those will be implemented in July, effective July. And we are committed to our sustainability and continue our capital improvement project in this area. As Mr. Gomez mentioned, we prepared this plan with information, historical information, actual information, what we had around time of March, April, May, when we were finalizing the numbers, using certain assumptions and estimates. But we are very much aware, and this is pretty much where we hear from everybody and in every media, anything that we listen or read, that this is time of uncertainty. We are not sure if our estimated revenues are going to come in the way they are, but this is, right now we are presenting a plan that is goal for our financial plan being structurally balanced budget. And we are ready to adjust that plan as needed, and we'll report that at a later time. So structurally balanced budget, that means that's a goal for all city funds. As you know, we have our chief operating fund is this general fund where majority, that's where we have discretion about where the funds are allocated, what services and programs are funded. However, we also have special revenue funds where these funds are restricted by granting agencies or our voters, or restrictions imposed by city council. And also we have our enterprise funds. So this year, it's a little different from any other years. General fund and two enterprise funds, transit and water fund, have had to be balanced with limited use of reserves that are existing, and I will go a little bit in more detail into it. And of course, we have to understand that our special revenue funds, primarily for the federal programs, may be in jeopardy. So in front of you is the plan for the upcoming fiscal year. The entire budget for the city amounts to about $304 million, out of which $165 million is our operating budget. And the pie chart shows where the money goes. Out of $304 million, about 43% are capital projects, and the rest is operating budget. And however, these capital projects are primarily funded from restricted funds. So our general fund represents operating budget of $165,000, about $80,000 million is paid out of general fund, and it's 48%. And as you can see, our major component of our expenditures is personnel costs, about $58 million citywide. We provide services, and that translates to personnel cost. What that $80 million pay for operating budget in general fund, and then it's pretty much $85 million in other restricted funds. So highlights are right here. Public safety, it's priority number one. And, major component of our budget is $20 million for sheriff's contract. We have our PSO, our public safety officers, patrols, and all those activities continue. Public services, that's our responsibility to maintain our equipment, our buildings, and our infrastructure. And of course, quality of life, recreation services, social services, taking care of our less fortunate. And then transit department is a robust operations that pretty much services not only our city, but also the region. To do all this work and provide all the services and support for the departments that provide services, it takes a team of about 531 employees And this chart kind of documents where we are and how we are growing. We pretty much dropped during the COVID time, and we are building up our workforce. So from prior fiscal year 2025, the increase in full-time position is only net one full-time position, and it's under public services. And it's a new position of traffic signal technician 3. It's a higher level position. And then total, and then also you can see where the funding comes from. The blue part of the chart, that's the general fund, the special revenue funds, and then green represents transportation department. This chart represents the historical information about part-time hours that have been budgeted historically. And overall, city-wide net decrease from prior fiscal years about 16,600 hours. And it is under vehicle maintenance. We are converting actually three part-time positions into full-time position. And then under transportation, transit operations, it's a decrease in part-time hours. Other departments under city, as you can see them listed, primarily public safety, social services, recreation, and public services are increasing their part-time hours. The new initiative, it's under public safety, 4,160 hours. That's actually the security that would be provided to our transportation department. In addition, I would also want to highlight that in addition to our operating costs, we have pretty robust capital improvement project plan for the upcoming fiscal year. These projects are on the books and are carried because they are pretty significant, and they take more than 1 year to complete. So we have 65 projects that are carried over, and only 3 new are added to the list. Overall, it's about $135 million in investment. And as you can see, we continue to invest into our streets, 20 projects and traffic improvements. That's majority of the projects. And our facilities keep on, and parks as well. Now I'm going to transition to general fund. As I mentioned, our general fund is our chief operating fund. Unfortunately, our revenues are not reaching or covering completely the anticipated expenditures. Revenues about $78.7 million, and operations plus minor capital outlays about 79.3 million. So for the first time since we established a pension stabilization fund, we are recommending using $650,000 to help us make payments to CalPERS for our pension benefits that we have annual required contribution to CalPERS. And for the upcoming fiscal year, it's about $5 million citywide. In addition, you may recall we do try to put money aside for any capital improvement projects or any, technology replacement, vehicle replacement, and so forth. So we are proposing $2.3 million to replenish our capital reserves and continue replenishing our community grant fund for $500,000. So with all that, we still anticipate that we will be within our fund balance policy, which is 20% of our operating cost, and we end up our general fund balance with about $16.3 million, if all the assumptions and estimates come to fruition. As I mentioned before, we are very vigilant, and we will be closely monitoring our expenditures and revenues, and we will be coming to you as soon as it's needed and periodically report, and no later than October or November in the upcoming fiscal year. So we talked about revenues. This is just a snapshot to show where the money comes from. Primarily, and then graph how the money went up. And primarily during the COVID time, we, of course, the orange part of the graph on the bottom represents our Measure P, additional sales tax that came to the city during the fiscal year 2021. And also during the COVID time, we received about $10 million over the course of 5 years. However, that revenue stream is no longer coming to the city. So, that was $3 million in fiscal year 2024 that we no longer can count on. And so the revenues in 2025 are pretty much, current fiscal year, are pretty flat, and there's no significant growth anticipated in the upcoming fiscal year. So on the other hand, our expenditures, operating costs is growing at a faster rate than our revenues. And here you can see it's about increase of $4%, about $3.4 million from prior fiscal year. And breakdown of the revenue of the expenditures, personnel costs primarily, 48%, and then sheriff's contract. Thankfully, our debt service payment went down by $800,000 as we defeased 2013 B bonds. And so, but the rest of the costs, like such things such as utilities, insurances, they're pretty much significantly, part of our operating cost and keep on growing. This slide shows the same information, $79 million in operating cost and additional transfer to reserve. As you can see, in fiscal year 2025, it was $7.1 million. This year, in the upcoming year, we can afford only $2.2 million to replenish our capital reserves. Priority number 1 comes as public safety, and followed by public services. That's where the money goes in general fund. With all the information I mentioned before reconciled, this slide kind of demonstrates how we are balancing the general fund budget and what is the estimated ending fund balance of $16.2 million. In addition, I wanted also to bring to your attention that we are still having our capital reserves for $43.9 million that have been $24.8 million is planned to be spent in the upcoming fiscal year for major park improvements, vehicle equipment replacement, those are lease payments, and aftermarket for replacement vehicles, renovation of our facilities, and street and traffic improvement. Typically, this funding serves as a local match to any federal funding we receive for streets and traffic. So if all that comes to fruition, we will be ending our capital reserves with $22 million. And that is a very fast, that's the overview of the proposed financial plan for the upcoming fiscal year. We are committed, as well as last year, to go ahead and apply for a GFOA award and get evaluated by financial specialists and peers from Government Finance Officers Association, take their comments and implement them in the final document. And with that, I thank you for your support and attention, and I'm here with my colleagues to answer any questions you may have. And our recommended action is to adopt resolution 25-27 to establish and adopt fiscal year 25-26 budget, and also resolution number 25-28 to adopt the salary schedule for general hourly employees and executive management and mid-management employees. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Yana. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Seeing that there's none, I hereby close the public hearing. Does council have any questions?
I do, Mr. Mayor, just one question. Yana, on page 12, I must have faded out. Not that this is not an exciting, topic, and we've gone over this budget so many times, especially in the budget ad hoc and then Saturday and what have you. But I think I missed the first topic on this slide. We talk about a fund balance of a negative 200,000. Can you elaborate on that? Am I reading that correct?
So revenues, ongoing revenues, as I presented, all the taxes, fees for services are 78.7 million. However, other resources release of committed fund balance of $200,000. It's really the repayment it's the principal from the loan that general fund gave to water fund. So annually, so every year, water fund has to repay this loan for several years now. This loan was granted during the purchase of water rights from a long time ago, 2005. And consequently, the general fund loan money to water fund, and every year the repayment is interest and principal. Interest is part of revenues. However, principal is release of committed fund balance. So that's just accounting jargon. But that is resource that comes from water fund as a repayment of principal. No, we never wipe the pages.
Okay, is there a motion and a second?
Move it.
Roll call, Teresa.
Council members Ramirez.
Aye.
And Rios.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Perez.
Aye.
And Mayor Ayala.
Aye. Item 23, public hearing to consider resolution number 25-29, setting the sewer service charge for fiscal year 2025-26 and ordering that such charge be collected on the tax roll. The public hearing is now open.
Did you want the public notice report before we proceed?
Yes.
Okay. Just, Mayor, Council, just to inform you that the notice was posted on the city's 3 official sites and the city's website on May 16th. It was also published on May 16th and May 23rd in the city's adjudicated newspaper. We've received no communications. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're ready for a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor Ayala and fellow council members. This evening, we have the Utilities Division consultant, Mr. Brendan Holzhauer, is the associate engineer representing Francisco & Associates. He'll be presenting tonight's presentation for resolution number 25-29. At the conclusion of this presentation, he'll be available for any further questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm here to assist with the public hearing that will set the sewer service charge for this fiscal year 25-26, and ordering that such charge be collected on the county tax. In June 18th, 2013, the city adopted ordinance number 13-1642, which established the sewer service charge for the city of Norwalk, and that such charge would be utilized for the operation and maintenance of the city's sewer system, including capital replacement. Per Norwalk Municipal Code, Chapter 1314, the city is authorized to levy an annual sewer service charge and have such charge be collected on the tax. On November 21st, 2017, City Council voted to continue to collect the sewer service charge with no increase to the city. With no increase until the city updated the 2015 sewer master plan and also updated the sewer system management. after which they would conduct a sewer fee study, which would evaluate the possibility of an increase to the charge. The sewer system management plan update is nearly complete, and the sewer master plan update is currently 65% complete. And so here is a listing of the current monthly sewer service charge by meter size. And each one of these meter sizes is evaluated per parcel. So let's say that there's one parcel that has two 1-inch meters. They would be charged for 2 times the 1-inch meter rate. And for those that have single-family homes, they are charged at 5/8 inch. And so I'll give a brief overview of the current capital improvement projects within the city. There is a supervisory control and data acquisition project for the sewer system that is 90% complete. There is a lift station upgrade that is 100% complete now. There is a lift station rehab for the Gridley Road sewer lift station that is 50% complete. There is also a review and evaluation that is being done of the sewer manholes that is 60% complete. And the phase 4 sewer pipe repairs are 10% complete. 3 more items. There are additional sewer manhole repairs that are 10% complete. There are the phase 5 sewer pipe repairs are 20% complete, and the sewer master plan study is currently 65% complete. And so the sewer charge currently for the city has a revenue impact of $2,512,000. The actual amount will be determined after the water data. The data from all water companies that serve the city has been collected and evaluated and applied to each parcel. And also the closed roll for the county has been provided for the July closed roll. So those numbers will impact the revenue figures. And so the recommended action for staff is that the staff recommends City Council consider adopting Resolution 2529, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Norwalk approving the annual sewer report and levying an annual sewer service charge for fiscal year 25-26. Pursuant to Chapter 1314 of the Norwalk Municipal Code and ordering the annual sewer service charge to be collected on the county tax roll. Here for any questions.
Thank you. Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Council have any questions?
Move it.
Roll call, please.
Council members Ramirez?
Aye.
Rios?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Perez?
Aye.
Mayor Ayala?
Aye. Item 24, ordinance number 25-1757, amending Norwalk Municipal Code Section 6.16.030 and 6.16.040 to update renewal terms for dog licenses. Staff report, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of City Council, Ms. Jennifer Hernandez will present.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the City Council. My name is Jennifer Hernandez. I'm a senior analyst in the Finance Department, and tonight I will be going over item number 24, which is the introduction of Ordinance 25-1757 to update the renewal terms for dog licenses. So a little bit of background. The existing ordinance for the term of dog license is listed in Norwalk Municipal Code Section 6.16.030, which in the municipal code itself indicates that the expiration for a dog license is annually expires on July 1st. This has caused some proration confusion for dog licenses. It also has caused overlapping renewal periods for various dog owners and inconvenient timing for pet owners. Another portion of the municipal code that discusses dog license terms is Norwalk Municipal Code Section 6-16.040, which discusses the penalties associated with non-renewals of dog licenses. And it currently indicates that a lump sum 50% of the cost of the dog license will be implemented to the dog owner, no matter what stage of delinquency this is. The penalty is assessed August 1st annually, per the municipal code. So why are we presenting this tonight? The city is currently working with DocuPet, which is an online dog license registration software. The purpose of this implementation is to provide efficient, timely, and accessible online registration or renewals. It also provides reunification tools for pet owners. So in the event that a pet owner loses their pet, they could go onto the DocuPet system and report their dog is missing, and members of who utilize the system can provide updates, or if they find the dog, can reunify them with their pet owners. The reason for implementing DocuPet is to modernize the process and switch the annual fixed renewal date to 12-month renewal period instead, which requires a change to the municipal code. So our current code lists, again, as I mentioned, that the expiration or the term of a dog license is July 1st annually, and the amendment that we are proposing tonight is modifying that and removing that July 1st deadline. The municipal code section that indicates the assessment fee of August 1st that will trigger a penalty fee is also being modified to remove that August 1st deadline. And in addition, in order to encourage pet owners to pay their dog license fee in time, we're also including a tiered penalty system, which means that rather than a lump sum of the 50% of the dog license penalty, if a dog owner renews their license within the timeframes listed in the municipal code, the fee will be lessened, but the fee total can be up to 50% of the dog license. And to illustrate that, we provided the table here. So as an example, the current license type for an alter dog, which means that the dog has been spayed or neutered, is $30. In the event that a pet owner fails to renew their license within their deadline, if they are 31 to 60 days past due, the late fee assessed to them is $5, and then throughout the tiered system, 61 to 90 days due, they will be assessed a $10 late penalty fee, and then over 90 days past due, their penalty fee will be 50% of the cost of the license, which will be $15. The amendments to the municipal code will eliminate dog license term confusions that currently exist. It'll encourage and promote timely renewals for dog licenses. It modernizes the approach for dog license registrations, and it incentivizes prompt renewals by avoiding lump sum penalty costs. And with that, staff recommends the City Council to introduce by title only Ordinance number 25-1757, an ordinance of the City of Norwalk amending Norwalk Municipal Code Section 6.16.030 and 6.16.040 to update renewal terms for dog licenses. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Does council have any questions?
I do.
I have one question
Go
as
ahead.
well.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I know a lot of what we're talking about is when a resident gets a new pet. We're looking at bringing a pet into the home. I also want to be able to give information to our residents on if they lose a pet, meaning their pet is no longer with their family and is passed on. How do those residents communicate that to the city so that way you can remove that from the automatic renewal, and or to let you guys know so that way it's one less, you know that it's something that you don't have to track?
Vice Mayor, I'll answer it. Actually, with the new online system, DocuPet, which we are, right now we are in a soft launch of the whole program. We will be bringing it back to City Council to introduce the capability of the software, but our residents will have a chance to report that they no longer have a dog, and depending on what stage of the year it is, possibly even receive a refund. So they just need to provide, as now, some certificate.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just curious. I'm just going to throw some information out there. I'm a big animal advocate, right? I support, dog ownership or cat ownership, but what would be the public benefit of a owner to register their dog? I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
So by state law, each dog has to be vaccinated and have valid rabies vaccination. And also, per our municipal code, they're required to register the dog, because also for the planning side, there's a limitation how many dogs a resident can own, I think, or on the address. Or if there's more than 4 dogs, then it's a kennel, and so it's dealt with differently. So we are following the state law in a way.
Are cats exempt?
So this is a very good question, Council Member. We do not license cats, and I'm not aware of any vaccination that they're required to have. However, our DocuPet software allows the pet owners, the cat pet owners, to register their animal and almost like create the web page or information page for them, and have that safe home type of outreach. And currently, I know we do encourage our residents to fix their cats due to the problem of overpopulation, and we provide vouchers. So we may be able to handle registration, but we are not licensing or asking any fees for cats, only dogs.
See where I'm going with this? The fact that, what's fair is fair. If you're a pet owner of any kind, it should be registered, right? And I don't know if there's an ordinance we need to pass. I know there's a lot of stray cats that have been multiplying out there because irresponsible cat owners, right? They release them. I think we have a program here that we offer financial assistance to getting their spayed or neutered on these feral cats. I would like to maybe revisit that part of what justifies dog registration versus cat registration. Also, too, enforcement is going to be a big part of this software, right? Are we cross-referencing with SIACA? Because we're spending a lot of money on SIACA services. I want to make sure that we're not duplicating services with SIACA. 2, we're cross-checking with SIACA that we're getting those violations through enforcement. Because I think everything is good on paper, but when we enforce things, it's a little bit more difficult, right? We don't have the manpower, we don't have the funding to enforce. And I mentioned this in our study session on Saturday, that the enforcement part is very critical, because we don't want to lose. We want to capture as much revenue as we can by state law, right? To making sure everyone is compliant. Is this going to be based on an honor system? Are we going to have the dog and cat police out there knocking on doors, confirming, because Norwalk is a big bedroom community, and we're pet friendly. We have a dog park. We have a lot of things that we're moving forward, and we have clinic vaccinations here. So I want to make sure what's fair is fair. We're going to capture the revenue. We're not duplicating services with SIAC. We're cross-referencing for registration in the honor system. And I think enforcement is going to be a big part of this.
Yes, we do. Right now, the push is to implement and get as many dog owners excited and to register their pets, their dogs, and license them. Once we go through this campaign, there is a plan to engage into canvassing. We used to do it on a regular basis, the entire city or half a city, and we would alternate every year. And after COVID, it all kind of died out. And but we need to have good records, encourage everybody who is out there, has a dog, never registered their dog, to take this opportunity. It's as easy at any time of the day. You can click on a computer and register, and pay your fee, provide your rabies certificate, and you are all good. So when the canvasser comes and knocks on your door, you don't have any problems.
Another thing I would like to maybe kind of research and look into is incentivizing these pet owners to encourage them to register. If it's a discounted registration fee in the next year or so that we can get them excited to register. Because as a pet owner, vet bills, food bills, and it's a responsibility. That's what you chose to do, to adopt a pet or rescue a pet. But there's an expense and a cost to it. Vet bills are high, neuter and spayed. Just overall care is a lot, and then you add in the state requirements, the city's requirements to register. So I would like to maybe see something we implement of an incentive program. How that works, I don't know, but discounted, or we'll waive your fees for this year, as long as you present certification that you still have the pet and he's been vaccinated and had all the requirements.
The fees are set by the council. However, there may be amnesty on late fees, and that can be pretty nice help.
Okay, just food for thought. Thank you.
I think it's important to incentivize that stuff, but I think Yana, is that the only way you can really capture the amount of money you need to capture is through Canvas, because they're at your front door, and because, especially right now with money being tight and everything else, probably the last thing people are thinking about is, getting a license for their dog. So, like I said, would definitely be a good idea to incentivize, but we got to get on that dog canvas. Go ahead.
Yana, I wonder if we would consider as an incentive, because spay or neuter could be pretty pricey. And so I'm wondering if we were to look at maybe working with one of the vet clinics here in the city of Norwalk to maybe offer some type of discount to Norwalk residents as, some savings, as an incentive, not just to neuter, but to also register their dogs. Maybe that might be something, because it is, it can be pricey. And then the other thing that crossed my mind, because I see this a lot, and I think unfortunately it contributes to and then the overcrowding and then excess of animals that need a good home, is those individuals that breed, that breed their pet, and so you have a dog owner and now he or she has like 12 pups and, isn't able to sell all of them or find them a good home. What's going to happen, to those poor puppies? So I'm wondering if there's any thought into how, we can, I don't know if we can track that, but I just think that that's a problem as we look at overpopulation of animals and cats. And I don't know if there's anything that your team has thought about as far as how do we monitor that? How do we control that? How do we kind of keep tabs on that so that there's more responsible breeders?
If I may just add,
just thought.
real quick, there is funding available for spay and neuter, and I think city manager created that a couple years back. I'm not quite sure how much funding is in that, and if it was carried over.
Oh, do we have something?
It's part of finance, but departmental budget under animal licensing or animal control expenditure. And there is about $17,000 that's dedicated to spayed and neutered voucher program for cats.
Oh, no, we need dogs. For dogs.
So
Yes,
the
so
regular animal license is $60. If you fix your dog, the license is $30.
Yeah.
And if you as the pet owner are a senior, it's $15.
Yeah. No, but as an incentive, just, to encourage them to spay or neuter. And then the other thing too that I think Councilman Ramirez mentioned was maybe at the onset of this, offering a small discount. Hey, register before this date and it's, $60 instead of $65, or, anything that, again, looking to encourage, incentivize, and help people save a few bucks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll move it.
Roll call.
Councilmembers Ramirez.
Aye.
Rios.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Perez.
Aye.
And Mayor Ayala.
Aye. Okay, next item, number 25, agreements, Health on Wheels program. Staff report, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of City Council, Ms. Gabriela Regalado will present.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Mayor Ayala, members of the City Council, today I come to present to you Health on Wheels program. Since 1996, the City of Norwalk has collaborated with the Norwalk La Mirada Unified School District and California State University of Long Beach to provide mobile medical services for the school-aged children called Health on Wheels, otherwise known as the HOW. The Health on Wheels program and the payment agreement are proposed for the term of 3 years beginning July 1st, 2025 through June 30, 2026, with 2 automatic renewal terms of 1 year each thereafter. The HOW vehicle will be located at the Norwalk City Yard at 13629 San Antonio Drive for overnight storage, and all other terms and conditions will remain unchanged. Staff recommend that Council A, approve the Health on Wheels agreement with the Norwalk La Mirada Unified School District and California State University of Long Beach to provide free and accessible basic health care services to children in the Norwalk La Mirada Unified School District from July 1st through June 30th, 2026, with 2 automatic renewal terms, 1 year each thereafter. B,
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
B, approve the bail-in agreement with the Norwalk La Mirada Unified School District for storage of the motorhome vehicle in the Norwalk City Yard from July 21st, 2025 through June 30, 2028. And C, authorize the city manager to execute the Health on Wheels program and the bail-in agreement and any other amendments provided there is funding in the budget and within the city manager's signing authority on behalf of the city in a form approved by the city attorney. I do want to share with City Council some of the reportings for Health on Wheels. This is our 29th year going out to service. We do collaborate with Dr. Unici. He is a medical director pro bono. The free services are offered for physical exam, immunization, and treat acute minor illnesses. 58% of the patients or students are uninsured, and 41 are on Medi-Cal. The services are Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 3. We had a total of 448 during August through March, and that's about 40 visits a month. This year we did tap into the TDAP immunization clinic, and we were in March, we were at Wake Middle School. In April, we were at Hutchinson and Los Alisos. And then in May, we were at Corvallis and Benton. We plan for 2025 to be twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Ramona Head Start, Sanchez, Moffett, Newford, New River, Wade, and we will consider other schools that are needed.
I think this and our children's dental program, which we started up again a couple years ago. I think these 2 programs might be some of the most important programming we do because of we're serving kids that don't have access, and parents that either don't have the access, and and poor kid has to suffer through it. So I'm glad to see this on the agenda. I know you take this real seriously, and like I said, I think this and the dental program are probably 2 of the most important things we do. Did you have a question? Yeah.
I just wanted, I know it's just an agenda report, But I mean, excellent, Gabby. Thank you for sharing all of that information. It wasn't in our staff report. And so I'm so glad that you shared it. And I'm able to hear from you exactly how, we're providing this service to our community. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
If I just may add, Mr. Mayor, real quick comment.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gabby, for the report. I believe in preventative health for our young residents, right, and have pre-screening, and I think that's important. I want to know, if you can, maybe not tonight, but in this report, maybe what kind of services are being provided, more detailed. Also, what fiscal impact it is to our general fund budget and those numbers that are associated, because it just says, from what I'm reading here, we're just continuing the program in an agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just the agreement or if there's funding involved, or there's some numbers attached to this. And I know we talked about storage, and that's when I read it, I just thought of, okay, we're entering an agreement just for storage. But if we're entering an agreement to continue the program with services, I want to know the fiscal impact, because it says here that we have the agreement and any amendments provided there is a funding in the budget. So that means there's going to be some expenses, some costs that are going to go out, and I'd like to know what those are and what the city's manager signing ability is for those services.
Thank you, Councilmember Ramirez. Yes, we do. It is just for storage. We do pay for the telephone that the nurse uses and the iPad or the laptop. I think they have to just to get through. It is just really for the storage. As far as the supplies go, that's where the doctor goes out and gets the grant, and they supply that. It really is for the gas and just driving the vehicle and storing it.
And also, if there's any, if the city's indemnified in any way because of either a medical malpractice or anything like that, I want to make sure that we're protected, because I don't think people thought about that. And they may or may have, I don't know. But that's what I'm thinking about. If there's a misdiagnosis or they miss something during screening, are we indemnified? Are we covered?
Okay.
Rick, I think it's in the agreement, the attachment number 1. It goes into full detail in all of there. So you guys did a great job of really covering what's in the agreement and what's the city's responsibility. So
Anyway, great program, and it's nice to get an update on it. Do we have a motion and a second? No, they're actually asking for,
I'll second.
there's agreements.
That was Vice Mayor moved it. Remember? Ramirez? Yes? You seconded the motion? Thank you. Roll call. Councilmembers Ramirez, Rios.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Perez.
Aye.
And Mayor Ayala.
Aye. Item 26, citywide classification and compensation study. Staff report, please.
Yes, Mayor, members of City Council. We have been updating the council in closed session and also in public session. And we wanted to finalize the report from the consultant's point of view with a salary schedule that has been provided to both bargaining units here in the city. And we would want to finalize that tonight with the consultant present. For the staff report, we have Ms. Karina Montes that will begin the presentation.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. The classification and compensation study conducted by CPS HR Consulting at the request of the City Council has been finalized, as Mr. Gomez has mentioned. A little background: on May 27, 2025, CPS HR representatives presented the methodology and preliminary findings of the citywide classification and compensation study. Today's presentation by CPS HR Consulting presents the findings and recommendations from the compensation study conducted for the City of Norwalk. The study analyzed the city's current compensation structure, compared it with market data from comparable municipalities, and developed recommendations for an updated salary structure that aligns with the market and the public sector best practices. The analysis revealed, and I am so sorry, there's a typo, that 36% of the citywide benchmark classifications lagged the market based on the midpoint of the salary range. 64% led or were at the market based on the midpoint of the salary range. The study also identified limitations in the city's current 5-step salary schedule, including inconsistent grade separation, limited room for wage growth, and salary compression and lack of wage growth among long-term employees. Based on these findings, CPS-HR developed a 9-step salary schedule with consistent grade separation, appropriate bandwidth, and a more measured progression between steps. The revised market competitive structure will enhance the city's ability to attract and retain talent, address current wage compaction, and provide appropriate paths for compensation growth. Vicky Quintero Brasher, a Client Services Director from CPS-HR will recap their initial findings and present their final recommendations. But before that, the fiscal impact of the classification and compensation study will be finalized after the conclusion of the labor negotiations and will be included as part of the fiscal year 2025-26 annual budget. The recommended action will be to receive and file. And with that, I would like to present Ms. Vicky Quintero Brasher.
Last but not least, hello everyone. Very nice to see you all again. I was here 3 weeks ago, as Karina said, to present the results of the market study that we conducted in partnership with another company called TrueComp. And today we're delighted to discuss with you our final recommendations. As you'll remember, the study was comprised of 3 main components. There was a market study where compensation-based salary data were collected, and benefits data too, from a set of comparable cities that were identified by the city and TrueComp prior to CPS joining the team. We analyzed the compensation data for key benchmarks, meaning key jobs were selected again by the city for comparison against these comparable labor market agencies. And the data that were interpreted and collected basically form the foundation of our recommendations. As you'll remember from the last presentation, about 44% of the city's total number of classifications ended up with at least 3 matches in the comparable labor market agencies, which in our mind is meets the threshold in order to extrapolate data. And as Karina said, about 40% of those, 64% of those classifications were at or above market, 36% fell below market. So there were definitely some recommendations in addition to studying your current salary structure that we were asked to provide and develop. At the end of the process, you may recall we talked last time about the development of a 9-step salary schedule, and we'll dig pretty deep into that as we go through a multitude of slides that will actually show you the actual salary schedules and talk a little bit about the implementation considerations as well as the preliminary cost. Our analysis of your current 5-step salary structure revealed several areas of opportunity that could be serving to actually hamper the city's ability to attract and retain and potentially motivate quality performance amongst your employees. First, you might recall from the visual that we showed last time, there is inconsistent separation between your pay grades, which creates this situation of internal equity issues even within the same classification series. So there's not equal separation between a 1 and a 2 and a 2 and a 3, for example. This inconsistency makes it difficult to explain to employees why similar jobs have different advancement opportunities in terms of salary specifically. Secondly, because there are only 5 steps in your structure, most new hires often start at a higher step in order for the city to offer competitive salaries, which immediately limits their potential for wage growth. And this creates a situation where your new employees quickly reach the top of the pay range with nowhere else to go. And then what we would consider to be one of the more concerning situations with the current structure is that 57% of your current employees are currently topped out in their pay grades, meaning they have no remaining opportunities for salary progression regardless of their performance or years of service, unless the city moves the structure, of course. And this creates some significant retention risks, and it reduces the city's ability to reward excellence in performance. So we built an updated pay structure that was reflecting the current market forces and supports employee wage growth overall. We created this modernized 9-step pay structure, working closely with city leadership and HR. We validated, after we created the foundation, we validated the placement of every single pay grade. So while, as you recall, during the market study, we studied a select group of benchmarks to compare to the comparable cities. When we got to the point of slotting all of the jobs into the salary schedule, the new recommended salary schedule, we looked at every single job and what their relationship were to each other within the structure itself. The process was very collaborative. It involved reviewing job duties, organizational relationships between the jobs, and of course the market data to make those placement decisions. And I'm very pleased to announce that our market study and the ensuing recommendations are complete. And of course, as Karina said, this is all based upon the union negotiations, which are currently underway. This is an excerpt or a sample of the 9-step salary schedule so that we can show what forces are driving the 9-step salary schedule. As you recall, it has 9 steps. Each step is separated by 3.33% and has an overall bandwidth of 30%. You'll recall that the 5-step plan has a bandwidth of 21.5%, and the steps are separated by 5%. In this system, the steps are separated by 3.33, and the salary range is wider. There's also in this system consistent separation between pay grades. So every single pay grade is separated by 5% exactly. This type of structure is modeled upon other successful engagements that we've had, but more importantly, really on best practices in the compensation consulting arena. And it also provides a sustainable framework for the city. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this on your end, but we have a series of slides that show each of the proposed 9-step salary schedules. This first page is for executive management. I'm not going to read each line, but hopefully you can see it well enough on your end that you can interpret and understand here the placement of each of the executive management positions on that pay scale. Again, honoring the relationships that were previously in play, but also understanding that there has been some market movement. Some of these positions across all of the salary schedules had to be elevated because they were under market. And so where things were under market, they were moved up. Where things were above market, they remained at the same level as they currently are. I think there's a couple of pages of the mid-management salary schedule. No, sorry, it's just one. And then there are multiple pages of the general unit. Obviously, that's where most of the classifications are that the city uses. I think there might be 5 pages here. And then finally, we have the part-time hourly unit, again on the 9-step salary schedule. So we wanted to be able to very clearly and succinctly explain to interested parties why this 9-step structure is advantageous to the city. First of all, it brings your pay grades to current market levels. So we're using actual data from the comparable agencies, matching against your current jobs, comprehensive benchmarking of this data so that we can provide you the very best and accurate recommendations for salary assignments. In addition, the salary redesign addresses the compression issues that your system currently has because some things are just so narrowly split apart and some things are very greatly split apart. So where things are very narrowly split apart, we've provided some breathing room for those classifications so that there's room to grow and room to advance. Now with a 9-step salary structure, your staff have more places to grow within the system before they advance to a next level or a promotion, that kind of thing. Each of the pay grade assignments, as I previously discussed, was carefully mapped to ensure that when that classification was assigned a pay grade in the new structure, it accurately reflected that role's responsibilities and internal relationships to other jobs. And of course to the market conditions. So this, I think, addresses any concerns that might be out there about jobs not being individually studied. Yes, we benchmark certain jobs for the collection of the data, but in the end, all of the assignments to the pay grades were individually conducted for each job. And then most importantly, I think the employee wage increases that are a result of moving from a 5-step to a 9-step ensures that every single person receives a wage raise and nobody walks away with a wage reduction. So employees are being moved to the steps in the next, it would be moved in the steps of the 9-step system such that their current earnings are protected, but they're also being given opportunities for future wage growth. And then finally, we're following best practices in the compensation industry and also making sure that this is a sustainable structure for the city financially. As I discussed last time, one of the most important things to understand if the city moves to this 9-step structure is the fact that while we are moving all jobs to market levels and we're maintaining equitable relationships between the job hierarchy, all employees will not receive the same increase when if implementation occurs. So truly, what an increase for each individual will basically boil down to will be the employee's current salary compared to how much the employee's actual pay grade move. Remember I said some jobs were way below market, so they got assigned to a higher pay grade. Some were at market, they sort of stayed static. So it depends on how much that job assignment or that pay grade changed. And then of course, what step the employee is being placed on in the new grade. So even though everybody is getting or would be getting a raise, it's variable. It's variable on based on those 3 factors. Once the employees move to the new pay grade system, they're basically being moved to the next highest step. So again, we want to protect people standing within the pay scale and their current salary. So what you'll see as the cost on, I think, the next slide represents the fact that each employee would be moved to the next highest step. Okay. And this is the cost. Right now, again, as Karina said, this is all being negotiated. Right now, this is our best estimate of a one-time cost impact to the city. So this is a foundational move by the city to modernize your pay structure. It's a one-time cost. And basically, it represents whatever movements that didn't take place before, regardless of the rationale. You're making this big leap forward to modernize your pay structure, which will amount to about $1,053,444. And you'll see the breakdown between the full-time and the part-time. This does not include any additional costs that would be incurred because of the implementation on benefits, and it does not include if the city decides to do an additional increase or future increases. This cost is strictly for implementing the 9-step structure and moving the employees with it. Okay, that concludes my report. Happy to take any comments.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions, council? Okay, do I have delayed reaction?
Yeah, just get my thoughts. Thank you for that presentation. I just wanted to go back to something I heard you say, and I was taking some notes here. I believe you threw out a figure of 64%. What was that in reference to?
64% of the classifications that were studied in the market are at or above market, meaning the city is paying market wages or higher for those specific jobs.
Okay.
There was the other side of that coin, the 36% are below market.
Okay. And then you threw another figure out there of 57%.
57% of your current employees are currently topped out in your current 5-step pay structure.
57%.
That's correct.
Okay. And did we by any chance look at in consideration of those percentages for total population of employees, was there any way to understand where that percentage was the highest in terms of type of employee, general versus management, for example?
Are you speaking about the comparable cities that were utilized?
No,
I'm not sure.
within our own city.
You're talking about the benchmarks and how they were selected?
So if, for example, you say that 64% of the employees were at market rate, right? Already.
64% of the jobs that we studied were at market rate.
Jobs?
So a single job, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jobs in our city.
Correct.
Okay. So does that translate to 64?
Number of people?
Yes.
It does not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it does not.
It does not.
All right. So would you have any idea of what that would be? I mean, I guess I would like to hear you convey the relevancy to our jobs here and the employees that stand within those positions.
Yeah. I'm recalling our data sheets feebly in my mind. But what I can say, after we assigned all of the pay grades from the 5-step to the 9-step, every single employee would receive some percentage raise.
Yes.
So the impact of that 64% behind market, 36% behind market, is significant enough that all of the jobs or all of the people moved some percentage, some greatly, some not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and when you explain that as far as the variance, does that then translate to the variance that's looked at between steps, or is that based on the individual employee and position?
The variance to the market is based on the difference between your midpoint in your salary range and the midpoint in the market against the jobs that we matched your job to.
Okay.
That's what the variance refers to.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for the information. I know you explained this previously, and we've been discussing this for several weeks now, but
happy to take the
I
questions.
just wanted to make sure that that was all very clear. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Happy to clarify. Thank you.
If I may add, Mr. Mayor, comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, as you guys can see, this is a very important issue for this council. The fact that we value our employees, but we want to be fair as well. And I can assure you that we all been working very hard in the process. Obviously, I can't go into detail at this moment, but just want to assure you that, you know, we value our employees. I would encourage, you know, employee feedback, because we hear different sides. I think that's important to hear employees' feedback on how they feel. I know this is unconventional. This is probably a new idea in the process of 5-step to 9-step. I know it's new. It's new to us. We've talked about it over and over to find what was fair and equitable for our employees. But we're doing our best to do what we can do with the information that's out there in the current market and comparing to other cities and other positions. So just be assured that we are doing our best that we can to come to a negotiation so that we can continue to provide the best quality services that we can to our residents, but also taking care of you guys, because you guys are the front line out there in our community. But like I said, this formatting, what I wanted to touch bases on, you mentioned how many employees are at that 5-step currently?
All the employees are on the 5-step structure right now.
But you said there was a percentage that were maxed out.
57%.
57% maxed out.
That's correct.
So there's nothing in the future for them, I mean, as it is today, if it was...
Unless the city moves the structure, which it can do that anytime. But those percentages are usually pretty small.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the presentation. Okay, going to oral communications. Art Lopez, please.
Years. I just want to start by saying that the ICE raids happening in our city is a public safety concern. There are plainclothes masked men who refuse to identify themselves or serve warrants, kidnapping people off of our streets. Equally terrifying is that civilians in plain clothes are now impersonating law enforcement officers and are committing horrendous crimes, as we've seen with the political assassinations carried out a few days ago in Minnesota. What are residents supposed to do when approached by armed, unidentified men given these conditions? They are not affording due process to the apprehended and trampling all over our constitutional protections. If these rights apply to some and not to others, then in reality, they apply to no one. The issue at hand affects everyone, documented or not. People with permanent legal status are being detained indefinitely. Having said all that, I want to ask the Norwalk City Council what they are planning to do to keep these residents, the residents of Norwalk, safe from these public safety concerns. I ask that they set up a warning system that notifies the people of Norwalk when ICE is in our communities. I get notifications on my phone for community events frequently, so I know that the capacity to do so already exists. The Norwalk sheriffs and public safety are constantly roaming our streets, so I know that there are eyes on the ground. Finally, I asked the Norwalk City Council to organize a Know Your Rights training community event with local immigration lawyers to inform the citizens of their rights. I believe it is your duty as elected officials to keep the residents of Norwalk safe. Keep ICE out of Norwalk, keep ICE out of LA. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Art. Next up, we have Paki Mataele. Paki, come in, Paki. Come on, Paki, you already lost 20 seconds off your 3 minutes.
We're supposed to make wearing masks illegal. Stupid. You know, the mayor, Los Angeles, and the governor, treason. Treason. Obama endorsed the same-sex marriage, LGBT. Biden endorsed the illegal immigrant. Just let two faggot walk on the street, thousands will follow. That's what's going on in here. Let two faggot walk on the street and thousands will follow. That's what we're getting. Well, you know, treason, all those things. Well, I come here because of the Chinese. Yeah, we come from China, the Polynesian. Let me tell you. Two grandparents, one child. Two grandparents, one child. The two children have one child. 6 people for one child. The one child take the place of 6. Huh? Do you understand? Now let's divide 6 with 1.2 billion. Divide 6, it's 200 million. From just me to the grandson, grandson. 200 million. What do you think of that? The fastest depopulation of the people in the world. Mao Zedong killed 1 billion people. You understand? The 1 billion is gone. Nothing. They're supposed to have 4 children to stop the depopulation. 4. You know, but then I think about the lion, a new lion of the Middle East. I think they can take down China. China don't have 1.4 billion. You know, Beijing come and see how fearful the people of that 1.4. It's a damn lie. Biggest lie in the world. You understand me? I'm the #1 historian in this planet. You'll be lucky to hear my voice in here, right? And I just straight it up. The Chinese have to run now and stop everything. Because I revealed the idiot. I revealed it today. And I think to the lion, rise of the lion, they can beat China, I think. I'm serious. The population of China is nothing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paki. Next, we have Janelle Fitch.
Good evening. This is all coming from the hip. I didn't have anything pre-planned. However, I am interested in the 9-step increase. I understand that we do need to increase our steps, but I don't understand why we must go from 5 to 9 steps where we had a 5% increase, and now you want to give us a 3.3% increase. I don't think that is fair to the employees who have dedicated so much time to this city. Why don't we consider making a smaller adjustment, maybe a 7-step with a 5% increase with both? I'm just wondering, there's got to be a better way to do this than for these smaller incremental increases, especially as we negotiate, they want to give you 2%, 1%. There has to be something to incentivize, to give us an incentive to stay. You're talking about retention of the employees that you have now, but it doesn't appear as if the compensation is enough to keep us here. And I'm speaking on my behalf, but I'm sure others may agree as well. That's all I have to say, and thank you for.
Thank you. Next, we have Lorena. I can't make out the last name. Okay, Velasco.
Sorry, a little nervous. Basically, it's the same thing, you know, what Janelle was just talking about. 9 years just seems a long stretch. Especially, I know those numbers, I know everything's in negotiations, it's just thrown out there, but if you're only giving an employee increments around $100 every year, it's not, you know, it's like, do you want to keep employees here long-term, you know, serving the city? You know, I just believe that 9 years is just, it's too long. You know, I have over, I want to say 23 years here, you know, and I'm okay, you know, as long as you guys keep raising the cost of living as it keeps going up, you know, my wages keep going up. But if you guys are going to do a 9-year stretch, make it around $1,000 a year increment, like, you know, where it seems like I want to stay with the city for a long time. I know you guys are still in negotiations, but please think of your employees that you guys have here, that our wages are nothing compared to, you know, other people's wages. You know, 9 years is a long stretch for a head of household, single mom, single dad. It just, you know, think of the lower economy people that are here. 9 years is a lot to get to, what, like $1,000, 9 years? You know, that it doesn't seem fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Patty Garcia.
Hello, Mayor, City Council. So I do just have a few questions so I can understand this and educate, you know, be educated in going into this study. So my first question is, I know you may not be able to answer the questions now, but just to keep into consideration, is the study in lieu of a cost of living or monetary benefits going towards medical benefits? That's number one. Number two, how does this affect employees who have been topped off for years? If it is 57%, that's quite a bit. That's more than half of our employees. And so I'm just wondering, where do they stand in lieu of this, or, you know, with this being pushed forward? And then the other part is, if I am understanding it correctly, it is that we are essentially going from 5% in 5 years down to 3% in 9 years, or 3.3. It's just, the math isn't mathing, and so I just want to make sure that it is very clear and it's laid out, and we really wouldn't know the actual benefit of the package until we know whether we're getting a cost of living or not in those 9 years to actually total up the percentage. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Patty. Next, we have Janelle Fitch. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, I have Patty Garcia, Janelle Fitch, Lorena Velasco, we heard from you. That's all our speakers. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.